A chapter all around, a chapter by your nose, a chapter to be yours on pure water, feelings deep upon air on top of water, to ride on clear water, walk with love with faith inside, walk with love on water, without fear inside, above the sky, on top of water, on top of water, walk with love on water.
I left Ireland on the 27th of September 2012 to start my new adventure in the land down under. Reasons for my decision to emigrate to Australia was based on a number of factors. However, it was mainly due to the downturn in the Irish economy. I spent a total of 6 years in further education between completing an honours degree in applied social studies and a master's in social work, only to finish with no employment prospects. This, combined with the idea of adventure and excitement, led me to Sydney, Australia. I have now lived in Sydney for a total of 18 months, and every day feels like an adventure. I am employed as a case manager within a non-government organisation working with young people in the care system, an area that I feel really passionate about. This has provided me with the opportunity to see the systems of youth at risk from an international perspective, something I would not have had the opportunity to experience if I had remained in Ireland. Of course, I could not talk about the benefits of living in Australia without mentioning the weather. With the average temperatures being 25 degrees, how could I complain? For me, it means you get more from life, as everything you do does not need to be planned around the weather. Days off include trips to the beach, swimming in the pool in my backyard, trips to the mountains, and of course, my favourite, walking around the outdoor markets. Living in Australia also has its downside. It is literally the other side of the world, and to plan a trip home to Ireland is both very expensive and an exhausting journey. Being so far away from family and friends is exceptionally difficult, and at times you are left with a feeling of jealousy and being left out. This normally comes in waves, especially around the times of major life events, family members' birthdays, school graduations, and so on. For me, the main disadvantage of living so far away is the feeling of worry, especially about people I care. The following thought would run through my head on a regular basis. What if something happens to someone I care about and I am so far away and unable to do anything to prevent it? However, on a more positive note, with communication facilities available, it is very easy to stay in touch. And I now know more about what is happening at home in Ireland than I did before I moved to Sydney. Sydney is an exceptionally multicultural society, and it has its advantages as well as disadvantages. The advantages include learning more about the world's cultures and the people in it. However, the disadvantages include losing part of your own identity and culture through adopting different elements from the different cultures you are surrounded by. At present, this is the life for me. I am not saying I will never return home to Ireland, as home will always be where the heart is. However, at the minute, the adventure still continues, and I'll always feel, and it feels like one big everlasting holiday.
Wake up. Wake up. Look at yourself.
Wake up!
Look at what you see.
Look at yourself. You don't even know you're in. Eternally. Look at the fight you're in.
Question.
You don't even know you're in.
Blind care, assimilation.
Assimilation is raping.
It's a question. To care.
You all but surrender to a mechanized ideal.
To the urges of your compulsions.
Desired self-satisfactions.
Can't you see it?
Obsessions. Require face. Things that which you happily
Can't you see it?
Flashing before your eyes.
in front of your face.
You exist by
That which you happily absorb. All that dead content flashing before your eyes. You exist by what?
You follow, you worship.
Life which is not your own.
You obey, you
obey.
follow, you worship.
You follow, you worship.
Posing as wallflowers, pissing perfumes of attraction, keeping you cemented, docile. You feel you need it at any cost. You must have it. Follow the leader. Grab the tail of those in front. You obey. You follow. Keeping you cemented and docile. Posing as wallflowers, pissing perfumes of attraction, keeping you cemented and docile. You need it.
You feel you need it. And at any cost, you must have it.
Follow the leader! Rise in excitement with energy, anticipation, delight and imagination. Now, once your mind would spark, jump, rise in excitement with energy, anticipation, delight and imagination. Now, your blood is clotted thick.
Keep your head bent, force down, deep into your chest. Keep your head bent, force down, deep into your chest. Get up.
Body direction.
Get up.
Tension. Body direction. This never-ending cycle. Paralysis.
Who am I? Who am I? I don't know.
변한 건 없어.
난 여전히 아침에 일어나서 아침을 먹고 하루 일과를 보내고 또 그렇게 하루를 마감하지. 난 단지 지구 반대편에 살고 있을 뿐이야. 그런데 내 모습이 왜 달라져 있을까? 나는 누구일까? 나는 누구일까? Who am I? Who am I? I don't know.
One, two, one, two. In the 20th century, we've had a lot of war. We had the Boer War, the Balkan War, the Great War. Ireland had a war of independence and a civil war in quick succession. There were civil wars in Russia, China, Burundi, Cuba, Israel, Mexico, Spain, Zimbabwe, Indonesia, Somalia, Sudan, Tajikistan and Rwanda. We had a World War and a Cold War, Bush War I and Bush War II, wars in Abyssinia, Afghanistan, Armenia, Namibia, Manchuria, Korea, Afghanistan, Bolivia, Cambodia, El Salvador, Vietnam, Kenya, Algeria, Laos, Lebanon, Afghanistan, Angola, Darfur, Eritrea, Palestine and Yemen. We have a war on drugs and a war on terror, which have transcended the need for a territory or an enemy. War is big business. The US defense budget alone is nearly $700 billion. In war, language is a powerful weapon. A gun can take a life, but words can convince people to take arms and give up their own lives. During the Second World War, Navajo people, whose language had been suppressed for over 100 years, were recruited by the US government to develop a code based on that language. It became known as the Unbreakable Code and was instrumental in the US victory in the Pacific and their ascendance to superpower. In a piece of terrible irony, the project was classified secret and the contribution of the Navajo unacknowledged for 50 years after the war. In Ireland, we have an oppressive regime whose actions to suppress free speech are shocking and should be of deep concern to anyone who values freedom and democracy. And yet, protests are few and far between. The oppressor depends on this code of silence, this Irish omerta. We saw TDs walk out of the Dáil in December when the government guillotined debate on the Water Services Bill, but would it surprise you to know that this government has used the guillotine on 63% of the legislation it's pushed through since coming into power? Right now, in Limerick, Ireland's first city of culture, 79-year-old writer and member of Éastana, Margareta Darcy, languishes in prison for refusing to give up her right to protest against the use of Shannon Airport by the US military. There were women effectively imprisoned in the Docus centres for not paying their TV licences. We're at war. We're at war with the very people elected to look after the citizens' interests. But we know that this government represents other interests ahead of its citizens. We've long since seen the first casualty of this war. It's time to sharpen our tongues and cut the silence. We have the power of speech, the power to say enough. The power of a million voices cannot be silenced.
I am the scum of the earth. I am useless. I am invisible. I am alone. I am hated and I am hateful. I am stupid. I can't be trusted. My thoughts and opinions don't matter. I'm simply here to be in the way. I am selfish. I am irresponsible. I am the dirt under your fingernails, the end user. I am angry. I am clumsy. I am spiteful. I'm not even a wallflower. I'm just the wall. I am self-destructive. I am upset. I am the butt of every joke, the runt of the litter. I am ignored. I am awkward. My feelings are irrelevant because I mean nothing to you, and you mean fuck all to me. But I am stubborn, and I am passionate, and I am enraged. I've accomplished things that you are not aware of. I am me, and I will express myself in any fucking way I please. And I do have creative ideas, which you will never hear, because you are simply waiting for your chance to speak.
Wszystko kręci się jak pozytywka. 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 Wszystko kręci się jak pozytywka.